The year is 2007. A young man with fire in his eyes and a mohawk on his head is pepper sprayed, handcuffed, and thrown into a police van. This is not just anyone. This is Arturo Vidal, a teenager with a promising career in football. His crime? Not being able to handle the controversial defeat in the U20 World Cup. This is just the opening act. What comes next? Chaos, my friends. Pure, unadulterated chaos. An image of a shaggy-haired young Vidal making his debut in Chile's U20 World Cup squad. His determination is tangible. The kid's got fire. But who knew that the fire would spark into riot after a controversial semifinal defeat? Yes, dear viewers, the furious Chileans, led by our man Vidal, spotted the referee in a car park, and they didn't exactly want his autograph. Images of shattered bus windows, a scuffle with the police, and Vidal being pepper sprayed and thrown into a cell. This, my friends, is where the legend of Arturo Vidal, the Mohican madman of Chile, starts to take shape. A few years later, Vidal is again in the limelight, not for his football skills, but for his unmatched knack for creating drama. Picture this. Vidal saunters into the training ground 45 minutes late, clearly nursing a hangover from a night of necking shots of Pisco at a christening. A livid coach, hands waving, spit flying, bans him for 20 matches. You'd think Vidal would learn, right? This is Arturo Vidal we're talking about. 2013, Vidal is seen on a drunken webcam call with Colombian model along with teammate Gary Medel, just hours before a crucial game against Paraguay. And when Chile qualifies, our man Vidal chooses to celebrate with an all-night bender, completely forgetting about his flight back to Italy. When he finally makes it back home, Giovantes gets his first taste of Vidal's pungent for parties and drama. Italian tabloids flash images of Vidal in all his glory, scrapping with punters outside the student nightclub at 5:30 a.m., mere hours before a Serie A game against Roma. They affectionately christen him La Piranha, while Giovanni finds him a whopping 100,000. Now hold on to your hats, folks. We're just getting started. Fasten your seatbelts as we plunge headfirst into the year 2015, a roller coaster of a year in saga of Arturo Vidal. The adrenaline is already pumping as he becomes the cornerstone of Chile's resounding Copa America victory. Picture the roaring crowds, the triumphant team, and the gleaming trophy held high. And amidst it all, Vidal, the star of the show, basking in the glory. But just as quick as the victory celebrations begin, they take a hard, dramatic turn. The cheers faded, replaced by sheer shrills of emergency vehicles. Our man of the hour, Vidal, is not on the pitch, nor in the jubilant crowds. He is somewhere entirely unexpected. In the dead of the night, the glow of his blazing Ferrari illuminates his figure, teetering on the edge of disaster. The aftermath of a wild, alcoholic-fueled night at the casino ended in a dreadful car crash. The image is striking, alarming, and yet undeniably gripping. The golden boy of the tournament is yanked out of his burning sports car, the smell of burnt rubber and spilt liquor hanging in the air. As the dust settles on the shocking turn of events, we find ourselves in the locker room with Chile's coach, a man torn between his star player's undeniable talent and his reckless antics. He refuses to sideline Vidal, firmly believing in the player's on-the-field prowess. Yet the frustration is clear in his eyes, and voice reluctantly admits, Vidal, he has a way with alcohol, and unfortunately, not an ounce of self-control. And so, amidst the highs and the glorious victory of the lows of the shocking crash, we've only just begun to deep dive into the chaotic whirlwind that is the life of Arturo Vidal. As we venture further, hold on tight because the ride's only going to get wilder. Not sooner does the echo of Chilean celebration fade, a fresh wave of chaos engulfs our protagonist, Arturo Vidal. This time, we find ourselves in the land of beer and pretzels, Germany, Bavaria to be precise, where our Mohican madman has just signed a deal with football giant Bayern Munich. With just 2 months out of the Ferrari incident, you'd think Vidal would have laid low, wouldn't you? but our man is anything but predictable. Once again, he's found tottering on the edge of disaster. This time, however, it isn't the blazing sports car, Bayern training grounds. An all too familiar sight greets us. Disheveled Vidal, liquor breath, and an undeniable scent of trouble. Fast forward to Oktoberfest, a sea of lederhosen-clad revelers, clinking beer mugs, and festive euphoria. And right in the thick of it stands our man, Vidal, living it up to his reputation. But wait, the scene quickly takes a turn for the worse. A harmless celebration spirals into a full blown-out brawl. A mammoth bottle of Grey Goose, a man's head, and an outraged Vidal. The fallout? A staggering $700,000 fine was slapped onto our footballer who went rogue. Thus ends a wild ride through Vidal's German escapade. A chapter marked by training ground mishaps, Oktoberfest brawls, and escalating fines. Though the highs and the lows, the cheers and the fines, we get a closer look at the enigma that is Arturo Vidal. As we turn the page, get ready for more thrills, spills, and unending excitement. The backdrop shifts to the Catalonian sun, the grandeur of Camp Nou, and Barcelona's Blue Garden. Despite Vidal's love for spirits and fisticuffs, he's been summoned by the Catalans giants. On the surface, all seem calm and under control. Vidal is making headlines for his performance on the pitch, not his antics of it. But dear viewers, appearances can be deceiving. Flash to 2021 Copa America. The boys are back together, and you can bet it's going to be wild. In a classic Vidal move, he and his Chilean teammates mastermind smuggling a group of escorts into the team hotel. That, dear viewers, is how Vidal throws a party. The fun doesn't stop there, though. Later that year, Santiago's nightlife becomes more Mohican maverick. A night of revelry later, he emerges from a local nightclub, clearly a few sheets to the wind, an all-grand exit befitting Vidal. He performs a prompt gymnastics over his shining convertible Ferrari. The scene shifts to Inter Milan, the city's black and blue tinge, now a part of Vidal's colorful career tapestry. You would think a man who somersaults over Ferraris turn up to training in something equally flashing, right? Well, not our man Vidal. In a move that is as surprising as his on-field tackles, Vidal shows up to Inter Milan training in a mint green Fiat Panda. That's right, folks. From fire-breathing Ferraris to humble Pandas. Vidal's garage is as unpredictable as the man himself. Just when you think you figured him out, Vidal throws a curveball. It's his unpredictable, larger-than-life persona that sets Vidal apart. As we leave the streets of Milan behind, remember this: Vidal's ride is just as wild as his life. Buckle up, because the next chapter is going to be a wilder one. Let's return to the green grass where Vidal is known best, the football pitch. But this isn't your usual highlight reel, folks. No, this is Vidal in all his unrestrained glory. Only 15 minutes into the match against Ecuador, Vidal decides to audition for the Karate Kid sequel on the pitch. With a high kick that would even make Jackie Chan wince, Vidal strikes an opponent's head. The referee shows him the red card, and just like that, Vidal is back on the spotlight. While most players strive for goals and assets, Vidal seems to have a unique affinity for red cards. It's this wild, almost reckless approach to the game that makes Vidal such a spectacle. Whether it's flying Ferraris or flying kicks, Vidal never fails to deliver a show. So stick around, because the ride isn't over yet. Our journey takes us next to Flamengo, where Vidal now plays. But if you thought change of scenery would bring a change of character, you're in for a surprise. In one match, Vidal is left on the bench and his fiery temper flares. He doesn't calmly accept a coach's decision or contemplate his performance. No, that's not the Vidal way. Instead, he unceremoniously hurls his boots in rage, screaming obscenities that echo around the stadium. He's promptly fined 10% of his wages for the touchline tantrum. It's safe to say that Flamengo got more than they bargained for with Vidal. From the pitch to the sidelines, there's never a dull moment when he's around. Amidst the turbulence that swirls around his career, Vidal's affectionate fatherhood remains an eye of calm. This man, despite his wild reputation and breathless, borderline absurd escapades, wears the hat of a father with pride and sincerity. His son is an emulation of his larger-than-life dad, sports a Mohican, mirroring Vidal not just in style, but in spirit. Despite his wild reputation and headlining-grabbing antics, Vidal still manages to be the hero to one who matters the most. His son's admiration for his dad transcends the on-field controversies and off-field extravagances, painting a wholesome picture amidst the tumultuous journey we've explored. This duality of Vidal, the furious footballer and the doting dad, adds another layer to his complex persona.